My family has a rule. No one can call my name after sunset. Old Wang from next door came over. Called Mom names. No reason. The door. My dad rushed out with a cleaver. My dad rushed out with a cleaver. Scared Old Wang so bad, he lost his slippers. Mom quickly held me down. Poured some unknown liquid into my mouth. When I woke up again, the house was burned down. Dad drove like crazy. Speed was over 120. But I saw beside the car a huge figure waving at me. Mom, there is someone running with our car. As soon as I said that, Mom covered my mouth. She was shaking, pale, biting her lip, typing on her phone. Don't look outside. Don't make a sound. Act like nothing's there. I was stunned, had no idea what was happening. But that figure was just too creepy. Because now, the car was speeding at 140. How could a human be that fast? But as time passed, the figure slowed down. Once it left, I suddenly felt the car's temperature rise a lot. Half an hour later, Mom looked around. No sign of that weird figure. Only then dared to speak. Old-Jiang, did we lose that thing? Not yet. Just look behind you. Mom turned, and I curiously followed. It was pitch black behind. Couldn't see anything at all. This is all so strange. Even with just moonlight, it shouldn't be this dark back here. I feel like something in the dark is watching me. Total confusion took over me. Why would my parents burn down the house just because the neighbor called my name? And this isn't the first house they've burned down. I remember as a kid, we were always hiding. Every place. We never stayed more than 6 months. Changing schools is my strongest memory. Plus, after sunset, Mom always brought me home. I barely had any friends. I asked my mom a few times why we moved so often. She just smiled and said, Dad got a new job, so we had to leave. As a kid, I didn't question. But seeing this weird scene now, I suddenly realized that Dad changing jobs was probably all a lie. All those years of hiding were to escape the shadow chasing us. But after all these years, why can't we escape it? Just as I was baffled, my dad's voice rang out. We're done. Trouble's coming. Mom said, what is wrong? Old-Jiang, the car's almost out of gas. It is chasing too fast, using too much fuel. We've all seen how fast that thing is. It might catch up in a minute. My dad gritted his teeth and looked at Mom. We need a plan to lose that thing. Is there a fork ahead? Dad immediately understood. You're going to do that? But used it once. Will it work? Let's try anything. Just go to the rest. Stop. Drop a shirt on a side road. Then Mom patted my shoulder. She pushed my head down again and poured down a big bowl of water. I felt dizzy and collapsed in her arms. After a while, I woke up. Ma, what happened to me? Speaking, my mouth felt awful. It was already dawn. We were in a small inn. Mom looked worried, like she aged 10 years. Dad, what is going on? What did we encounter? It is our sin. Not yours. Don't worry. We'll protect you. I was confused, but I knew it was terrifying. Or my parents wouldn't have feared it for years. I actually had a sister, but one day she died suddenly. My parents said she fell off a cliff. But at the funeral, I saw half her body torn apart like by a beast. Now I think it was that thing. After that, my parents stopped seeking help. They just kept moving with me. Recalling this, it was 3 p.m. Almost sunset. It would be unsafe soon, because at sunset, that thing chases us. Mom asked, Dad, which way should we go? We need something it fears. Otherwise, it'll keep following us. Let's go to Taisha Mountain. Mom nodded, but they all looked grim. From here to Juding Taisha Mountain, it is over 800 kilometers. Not sure we'll make it tonight. But Dad was right. We'd be safe at Juding Taisha. I know someone powerful there. After eating, we got in the car for Taisha. But just as I got in, I heard a familiar voice. It kept shouting. 14, Brother Mo, hide well! Don't let Ole find you! I stared wide-eyed around me, but there was nothing. The voice didn't return. Yet in my heart, a sadness kept spreading. I knew that voice. It was my only friend for years. But later, something happened. Sadness and guilt kept spreading. It choked me. I took a deep breath and looked at Mom. Mom, do you remember Shaoxingzi? 5 years ago, the one dragged off by a beast. Shut up! What nonsense are you talking? 14. Mom glared at me to be quiet. But I just heard Shaoxingzi talking to me. He said what he said before being taken. Hide well. Don't let Ole find you. Mom, pale, held me close. She kept patting my back. It's okay, sweetie. It is fine. You're just too tense. Miss Hurt. Dad glanced at me in the rear view and floored it. In Mom's arms, I dozed off. I dreamed of that time with Xiao Xingzi. That night, Xiao Xingzi came, said Old Li's watermelons were sweet. Wanted to steal one. Mom was busy. Dad wasn't back. I said yes. We ran to the melon patch. 2 7-year-olds, not very tall, crouched low, squeezing in. Soon, we were behind Old Li's shack. Sweetest melons there, hard to spot. We started, smashing one with a rock. A few hits, and it cracked. Oh, we dug in. Old Li's melons, sweet and grainy. One wasn't enough. Xiao Xingzi pulled me. Moja, Old Li's well has a chilled melon. Let's steal that one. Tastier for sure. That melon was big, at least 20 pounds. We hauled it up. About to open it, we knocked the bucket. It fell back in. A loud splash. Old Li woke with a start. Cursed from his shack. Little brats! Stealing from your grandpa! He ran toward us. I hid in a haystack. 小心地上草来的, but Old Li saw him. With no choice, he said to me, Bro, hide well. Don't let Old Li find you. I nodded. Xiao Xingzi started running out. Old Li chased a few steps, but didn't catch him. He cursed and turned back. But just a few steps in, I heard Old Li cursing again. You little brat. Dare to come back. Then I heard Old Li's scream. Something must have happened. I quickly came out of the haystack. Old Li sat on the ground, pointing ahead, speechless. After a while, Old Li spoke. We don't go. Get the adults. All of them. I called all the village adults. Many asked Old Li what happened. Old Li trembled. Said he saw a figure. Take Xiao Xingzi away. Everyone walked that way and saw a large pool of blood, as if a beast had mauled Xiao Xingzi. Xingzi's mom fainted from shock. Villagers all murmured. What took Xiao Xingzi? Only Old Li and I were there. Old Li insisted it was a figure. I was too young to answer. The village old hunter thought, told everyone to take torches into the mountains. I hid behind the crowd. We marched into the mountains, but none of us thought we'd see something unforgettable. Bloodstains dotted the path. Villagers guessed. Maybe a bear? But it was a figure. Bears stand to lure people. The old hunter denied it. Bears eat prey on the spot. They don't drag it far. They're too heavy. Dragging stuff is exhausting. Others guessed too, like Big Monkey, Old Tapir, etc. Some old guesses. After walking a bit, everyone found lots of blood. Seems that thing attacked, causing Xiao Xingzi's bleeding. Seeing the blood, the old hunter warned. Xingzi's mom, don't get your hopes up with this much blood loss. Xiao Xingzi is likely gone. Xingzi's mom wailed, but the villagers stopped her. This old forest has all sorts of things. If her cries attracted a bear or tiger, it'd be over. After more walking, they finally found Xiao Xingzi in a cave. He was bloody and lifeless. The old hunter sighed, told everyone to take his body down. As for what it was, the hunter just said, This matter, it is not for us to handle. He is dead. Let it go. As I walked down, my parents showed up. They looked grim. Ignoring everyone, they grabbed me and quickly left the crowd. Then they burned down our old house, drove me away from home. Later I learned, before leaving, my parents secretly gave Xingzi's mom money. They seemed to say, Xiao Xingzi died in my place. When the dream reached this point, I slowly woke up. It was midnight. Outside was pitch black, but moonlight lit the path. Seeing me awake, my dad said, Just sit tight, don't overthink it. Once we reach 9 Peak Iron Mountain, we'll be fine. Then everyone fell silent. After half an hour of tension, my dad suddenly panicked. Go! Get out now! He instantly raged, cursing at something. Sweat poured down his forehead. He gritted his teeth and told us, If something happens, I'll slow down as much as I can. You two jump! Dad released the gas to brake, but something under the pedal seemed to be blocking his foot. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't push it down. I looked outside and felt something was off. The moon was still there, but the car behind looked unreal. Dad, that car behind us might not be a car. It is something else. Dad nodded, his face growing more terrified. He told Mom to burn paper and toss it behind. Those things seemed scared of fire. They finally vanished briefly. Seeing that, Dad said, Honey, you drive. What is wrong? That thing's after me. I can't see anything now. Everything's black. Dad pulled over on the shoulder. I helped him out of the car and into the back seat. Mom took the wheel to drive away. But we hadn't gone far when I saw on the nearby hill a huge, dark figure. It must have been 15 feet tall. It looked like some beast. But how could a normal beast be this tall? I quickly tapped my dad. It is following us, right on the next hill. My dad, with a shaky voice, told my mom, We can't outrun it. Head to the service area, quick! With more people there, we can pick up their scent. We might still escape. We parked at the service area. It was late night. Many truckers were resting there. When we got out, the small diner was brightly lit. A few truckers were eating and chatting. Seeing us come in, they greeted us warmly. Hey, buddy! Traveling with the whole family late at night? On a trip? Come on, join us for a bite! My dad smiled and greeted them, pulled out a pack of cigarettes, and tossed it over. Hey, share these. Nothing fancy. Just these. See my dad so friendly. One of the older truckers grabbed a chicken leg and walked over, handing it to me. Here, Chana, Rio Gobangzer, roasted chicken. I took a bite. It was really good. We ordered 4 more dishes and chatted with the drivers while eating. My parents' eyes were full of guilt. Using their presence to hide from that thing felt wrong. But to survive, we had no choice. When that thing realizes it is not the right person, it'll probably leave. At most, the truckers will get a scare. After eating, we'd soaked up enough human presence. My dad pulled my mom and me outside. My dad and I went to the restroom. But when I came out, my mom was gone. My dad and I looked around. Still no sign of her. Suddenly, a big truck nearby started its engine. My dad and I quickly looked over. Mom was lying under the truck, right in the driver's blind spot. We were terrified. I rushed to stop the driver. My dad ran over and pulled her out. Mom stared blankly under the truck, muttering nonstop. Mommy will pull you out. Ching Ching is my sister's name. She died years ago. Mom was possessed by that thing. Dad pulled her out. Mom kept reaching forward, trying to pull someone out. I kept stopping her. Mom, Ching Ching died long ago. Wake up! Mom, eyes red, kept yelling. Ching Ching isn't dead. How could she die? She is my daughter. She can't die. The truck drivers came out too, seeing Mom possessed. They helped pull her out. Mom finally snapped out of it. We quickly thanked them. The man waved. It is okay. Just go. During the day, get someone to check. We thanked him and pulled Mom into the car. The car finally drove smoothly towards Juding Taisha Mountain. After a while, Dad frowned. Damn it. Strange. Why aren't we moving? Mom grabbed the GPS, frowned. Maybe no signal in the mountains. GPS froze. Dad shook his head. It is offline. Then we noticed. Thick fog suddenly surrounded us. Fog! That thing might have caught up. Dad sped up again. I looked back, pitch black, but on the hilltop, that giant dark figure appeared again. It was still chasing us. Luckily, we were fast. It was getting farther. Soon, it vanished from sight. I finally breathed. Wanted to tell Dad we lost it, but when I looked at him, his face was pale. Just ahead of the car stood a little girl in white. It was my sister, Ching Ching. No!
Honey, that is our daughter!
Mom screamed hysterically. Her eyes were blinded by that thing. All black, no whites. Dad gritted his teeth and yelled, That is not our daughter! Ching Ching died long ago. If we stop now, Xiaomo will die too! That last line got through to Mom. She fell silent, just slumped in the back seat. Dad floored it and rammed through. The girl in white was like dough. She smiled, then turned to ash, blown away. White ash filled the air, blocking our view. Dad shouted, Watch your Mom. Don't open the windows! I didn't dare relax. Stared at Mom's every move. Mom, as if possessed, reached for the door handle. I wrestled with my mom. She was strong, trying to choke me. She screamed while choking me. You and your kind killed my daughter! I'll kill you all! I couldn't breathe. I pushed her away, but she was too strong. Just then, our car finally left the fog. My mom snapped out of it. Seeing this, she almost broke down. She touched the marks on my neck. Are you okay?
Sweetie?
I'm fine. We made it out. That is what matters. I need to call that person. Won't object this time, right? My mom bit her lip and nodded, but tears still fell. My dad called and talked a bit. Then he turned to us. We need to go 2 more service areas. He'll meet us there. He's getting in. He might make us safer. Once we reach Juding Taisha Mountain, we'll be safe. We arrived at the service area on time, but he wasn't there. My dad called him. He told my dad, Don't look for me. I'll show up when it is time. We were confused when we got in the car. We saw the door was open. Scruffy middle-aged man was in the passenger seat. We froze for a second. Just as we were about to ask who he was, he spoke. All right, that thing is coming. If you keep dawdling, we won't make it up the mountain. We instantly realized this man was the one from the call. After driving over 20 kilometers, the man suddenly cracked the window open. He sniffed the air outside, then closed the window. The man frowned. How'd you get tangled up with this thing? A mistake from years ago. Never thought it would haunt us forever. Normal. Wolverines hold grudges. Once it has got you in its sights, unless it dies, or else you'll never escape. Of course, a good talk might work. Depends on how bad your mistake was. Only then did I finally understand. What we'd been hiding from all our lives was an animal called a wolverine. But what is a wolverine? I looked it up on my phone. It is also called a glutton. Flying bear. Not big, but leaves no tracks in snow and can zip through trees. In the old forest of the Northeast, it is a tough beast. Like a honey badger. Petty and vengeful, and it goes for the low blows. Can rip your guts out from behind. So most would rather mess with a black bear than a flying bear. And there are many wolverines in the old forest because they live long and have long-term exposure to pollutants. They've mutated and developed special abilities. The one my parents offended, needless to say, was a mutant wolverine. Just as I was reading this, the man squinted and whispered, "Here it comes. Whether we make it up the mountain depends on this." We were all tense. No idea what was coming. Soon, a piercing howl rang out. My head felt like it would split. The middle-aged man's mouth kept chanting strange phrases. Sounded like Manchu. I couldn't understand a word. As he chanted faster, our headache eased. When the pain vanished, the car window behind me went crack. Something slammed hard into it. What now? My dad looked anxiously at the man. He kept his eyes shut, silent. He seemed to be in a trance. He couldn't hear our calls. A big dark claw, a big dark claw, almost as big as a door, hit the rear window again. This time, the window shattered. Mom and I cowered in the back. The giant claw had already reached inside. I could hear the sharp claws scraping against the car's metal. If that claw caught us, it would pierce right through bone. Seeing us in danger, my dad floored it. He shook the thing off for a bit. I stared outside. The huge shadow flickered in the fog. It was incredibly fast, faster than the car. The gap we just made was almost closed. In the thick fog, it vanished from sight. Then, with a crash, it jumped right onto the roof. Its claws dug deep into the roof. The claws pierced the roof. It was too fast. I had no time to react. I just felt sharp claws sink into my shoulder. My shoulder gushed blood. Mom panicked and shoved the claw. The man finally finished his meditation. With a loud shout, he struck hard. I felt a gust rush past me, like 1,000 troops charging. Then, a strong wind rose from the ground. The creature was caught in it. Its body slashed by unseen blades. Then, a dark shadow darted up the hillside. The man sighed. Too bad. After all that prep, it still got away. Before us now stood a stone tablet. 9-peak Iron Reek Mountain. We'd finally reached a safe place. My parents then told me about that incident. My parents were rich. I always knew that. But I never knew how they got the money. When they were young, they worked as guides. Not ordinary guides, in the old forest of Shanghai and the greater Khingan Range. They led ginseng hunters, loggers, and wealthy clients. They went to places with legends of thousand-year ginseng, or waterways for timber rafting, and so-called Qing treasures, like the Northeast King's Hoard. The pay was generous. They made a fortune in a few years. The biggest job was guiding a rich man to find the legendary Abaha Temple. He paid them 200,000 in one go. That was 200,000 in the 80s. But after one encounter with that thing, they never went back to the old forest. It was an expedition with a rich man to find the sacred Haidongjing bird on Changbai. They almost didn't go. But the rich guy paid too much. So, my parents led him to Changbai Mountain. But unexpectedly, the rich guy ignored warnings on the mountain. He killed an animal he shouldn't have. On the way back, they were ambushed. The rich guy's team was almost wiped out. My parents were trapped in the mountains, starving and about to die. They caught a wolverine. They skinned it to eat. But after skinning, they found the wolverine was slow. Not because of a hunter's trap, but because it was pregnant with twins. Though reluctant to survive, they ate it anyway. Back home, my mom found she was pregnant with twins too. They suspected it was linked to the wolverine, so they came straight to Juding Taisha Mountain. The middle-aged man told them, wolverines hold grudges. It wanted them to have kids and feel the pain of losing a child. He offered to keep them on the mountain. Protected by ancestors, it couldn't come. But they thought money could solve everything. So they went back down. But the wolverine chased them for years. After attacking my sister, it planned to get me too. Now, with no choice, we're back on Juding Taisha Mountain. The middle-aged man sighed, then shouted into the deep mountains. Everything has consequences. You killed the sister. That is revenge. Now the score is settled. I'll have them pray for your kind for a year. From now on, we're even. For the next year, my parents and I lived on Taisha Mountain. We worked in animal protection. We'd tell tourists about the importance of harmony with nature. After that, we never saw the wolverine again.